Hey, what's up, guys? I've been seeing this trend of Genshin YouTubers saying which characters that they regret pulling, and so I figured I'd take a shot at it as well. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, for simplicity's sake, we're only going to be doing the 5-star characters and also only the 5-star limited characters just because no one can really know if they ever will get a standard character or when they'll get a standard character. So, I'll just leave this out. So, that's the criteria when I'm doing this list. So, let's get into the first character. So, unfortunately, my first character is what I'm on right now, which is Xiao. So, I just wanted to do a brief overview of Xiao and what he does and why I don't necessarily vibe with it, essentially. So let's go with his talents. He's got a normal attack pattern. It's fine. His skill is just 3 dashes. Does pretty decent damage. And the main thing that he does is he goes to alt. He goes into an alternate state where all his attacks turn into animo. He gets like jump height. He gets and then bonus plunging damage. I believe he gets bonus damage for all of his major attack types. And while he's in it, he loses health. So my main issue with Xiao isn't the fact that he doesn't do enough damage, because quite the opposite. He does quite a lot of damage, and especially now that Faro's on out, he can do even more. My issue with Xiao is more of just he's a bit too monotonous to play. When I first pulled him back in 1.3, it was great. It was really fun, and he did a lot of damage. But now I have gotten a better idea of how I like to play Genshin, and I think most of us have if you've been playing since the very beginning. But if Xiao isn't that fun to play, he's a bit monotonous. You're only really doing the plunges quite often, and so it just gets a bit tired and boring to play. Um, and let's also take a look at his constellations because sometimes constellations can fix a character, not just add damage, but change how they play to make them possibly more interesting and engaging. And unfortunately for Xiao, his constellations, in my opinion, don't change him enough to really warrant me continuing playing him. So his first constellation, he really just gains another charge for his skill. So instead of dashing twice and attacking enemies, he can dash 3 times. So it is helpful, but it's not. It doesn't truly change how much you play him. All his other constellations up until C6 don't really do anything, and Xiao's kind of known for his C4 is really useless. It's just not worth it. I will admit he does change for his in once you get his C6. When you plunge and there's at least 2 opponents that you hit, you gain an extra charge and things. So in theory, you could plunge, hit the 2 things, and you could just dash like infinitely, plunge, and do that. I have seen it. It looks very fun, but it's just such a kind of niche scenario where it's like there's 2 enemies, you plunge and hit them, and they don't immediately die. At least in Xiao's case, Xiao would pretty much immediately kill them, or kill them in 2 punches. So there's not really necessary to do the whole dashes and charge. It's just kind of a hard scenario to really fit in and when you really use it. So I I still think it changes the style and it makes it more interesting and engaging, but it doesn't change it enough to really ever want to get in it, especially because it's a C6. So that overall is like why I don't like Xiao. He's too monotonous, and the style of play that makes him less monotonous, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, and I'm just not into Xiao enough to warrant me spending that money. So let's go into the next character, Ayaka. Let's get into her kit before I say anything about her. Normal attacks, fine, whatever. Her skill, she does 1 instance of cryo damage. It's also whatever. She has a dash like Mona's, where she eventually just kind of goes in the ground, becomes her element. She does get the added benefit of when she pops up and applies cryo to an enemy with this, she gains cryo infusion on her normal attacks, which makes it a bit more interesting than, say, Mona's. But eh, and then her main kind of thing is her burst. She sends out this kind of flurry attack straight in front of her that hits enemies, and it travels real slowly, so that way, like, it doesn't just go zoom past them. But that's essentially what she does. And again, much like Xiao, her my issue with her isn't that she doesn't do enough damage. She does plenty of damage. I mean, she's one of the most, I wouldn't say broken, but she's definitely one of the strongest DPS characters in this game. So it's not a matter of damage. It's just a matter of I honestly just find her boring. I find her playstyle boring, and I don't necessarily like Ayaka as a character. I also just find her character rather boring. So it's fine if you like her personality, you like how she plays. I just find pretty much everything about her boring. So that's why I really don't like her. And her constellations don't do anything to fix that because none of her constitutions, none of her constellations do anything to change how she plays. They just add damage to what she already does, which is fine. If you want more damage, go ahead. Get her to C6 to make her completely broken, more broken than she already is. But it's just like uh, my main gripe is with how she plays, and none of this fits how she plays, so it's not worth it to go for him. Um, and lastly, because actually I do enjoy most of my characters, especially the 5-star ones I pull. The last one that I don't really like is Ayato, and he kind of suffers the same kind of instance of how I feel about Ayaka. It's just he kind of is boring. So let's go through his kit to really see why I feel that way. So first of all, his normal attacks are kind of useless for. I mean, his normal attack talent is useless, so it's not even worth talking about. Um, his skill is the main damage dealing type that he will do. Essentially, press a skill, he creates this kind of illusion of himself. It explodes if it's near an enemy, but then it also gives him like this kind of different state where essentially he does these Shinsuiken attacks, and they are based off his normal attack, and they're fine, but and kind of like Xiao, I did find it fun in the beginning, but now it's just kind of meh. Like I do occasionally play Ayato just to kind of remind myself of what playing Ayato was like, but overall it's just kind of boring. And his burst doesn't really add anything to it. He creates a large area of effect, and the things hit occasionally automatically, and it's not that much damage. So, uh, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And then also his constellations, much like Ayaka's, don't don't fix any of the issues that I have with it. Because again, my issues with the characters um, that I do regret pulling, it's not so much the damage. The damage doesn't matter. You can build Shinyan to be OP. You can build Aloy to be OP. You can build Amber to be OP. Like it doesn't. Damage is never a factor if you want to put in the effort to getting a character to do a lot of damage. What makes a character like you don't want to use them, what makes it so you don't want to use them is, do you like how they play? And for me, I don't like how he plays anymore. I don't like how, yeah, it's just, and again, his constellations, they just add more damage. Like, cool, his skill damage now does 40% against enemies that have half health or less. Cool, more damage. Same thing, they give him more stacks, gives him more HP, more damage. Great, more damage. Um, Normal attack speed, technically, more damage. If you're attacking more, you attacking faster, you're gonna attack more, you're gonna do more damage. Cool, more damage. More damage. And again, more damage. And it's like, it doesn't fix their issue. At least I will say, at least for Xiao. At least for Xiao, his Constellation 6 gives him a different way of playing. It gives him something extra to do than whatever. So if you do end up, if you're just a person that likes to C6 everything, he will play differently at C6 than he will at C0 or even C5. But Ayaka and Ayato won't. They simply just get more damage. That's it. They just get more damage. It doesn't change how they play at all. So it's great for if you like those characters. If you like Ayaka and you like Ayato, and you just want more damage to make them even more great, sure, that's fine. But for someone who doesn't like them, doesn't like how they play, more damage isn't gonna fix the issues I have with them because my issue is again just how they play. Um,
A
but that's
blade
not saying they
embraces
play
its duty,
bad. It's just saying
as a
how they
jeweler
play is
cherishes their
not
gems.
for me. So Anyway, I think that's all. Those are the only characters I regret pulling. Obviously, I don't have every 5 star. I've tried every 5 star a couple times, but it's not worth going over. Like, how does Nilu work? I tried her once in her trial. That's it. So I couldn't give you my actual opinion on her because I don't have her. I haven't used her and I haven't played her, really. So, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love to hear about what characters you guys regret pulling, and I'd love to hear your opinions on what I said. Do you feel the same? Do you vehemently disagree? Please tell me down in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.